the Diddy trial updates. A lot has happened since we were last here. It's a lot to kind of overview and get into. I've tried to break it down into the order of the last three main people who took the stand, and a big dun revelation. One of the former Making a Band members had to say about Diddy. So we'll start. Yes. I mean, Dawn Richard is the first who was up on the stand. So pop singer Dawn Richard, I must say, yes, told a New York court that she witnessed Sean Diddy Combs beat his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura and feared for her life after he allegedly threatened her. Now, she was a former member of Danny T. Kane, and she also warned that Diddy said people like her go missing if they talked about his business. However, under cross-examination, some of her testimony seemed to fall apart. Nana, you watched it. What did you think? I'm going to set up a video where someone speaks about this, but whilst I'm doing that, have a chat about what you thought, and Farah, what you saw.
Yes, I you know what? I felt sorry for her because it did seem like she did unravel. And for somebody that has a case as well, like, you know, she's actually got her lawsuit out on him. I thought she would have more details. Like, she would have gone through her processes for timelines to be very good on the stand, like Cassie was. I thought Dawn was going to be similar. But I got to say, by the end of it, I was like, I feel like Dawn is a bit of a co-conspirator. Before Q mentioned anything, those were my thoughts on Dawn. Just her shakiness sounded like I can't give you all of the details because I may incriminate myself more than I don't remember, like how she was referring to things. She wasn't helpful, and it was like, actually, maybe they didn't need her. Maybe that was like the prosecution shouldn't have had Dawn on the stand. Those were my initial thoughts after she finished. I think you're on mute, my dear.
I think that the testimony that Dawn Richard gave and the defense really going in on some of the inconsistencies were the takeaway. So there were moments today where the defense was asking Dawn Richard, which, as you know, was a member of Danny D. Kane, and another group that Combs had from 2004 to 2011. And what we heard today was Dawn Richard admitting that she was not sure why she didn't make some of her proclamations of who was at a party during an alleged assault. She said that she didn't know why she didn't say certain things in previous interviews with prosecutors.
Right. And some of those people that she failed to mention were A-list celebrities.
A-list celebrities, that's right. So there was an instance where Dawn Richard mentions an assault that happened at a restaurant. And she mentioned some of the names of people that Combs worked with. But when the defense asked her, well, what about the celebrities? You said there were celebrities there. Why didn't you mention those names? And she said she wasn't sure.
Wow.
But some of those names were Usher, Jimmy Iovine, she said, and Neo. She remembers being there.
You described today in the cross with the defense and Dawn as being ping pong. How so?
Yeah, so I think it was such a rapid fire of questions from the defense when she was asking Dawn Richard about some of those inconsistencies that you could literally see the jurors looking back and forth at the defense and then at Dawn Richard. So that was the first time that I had seen that, as there was so much quick back and forth when the defense was making her arguments to Dawn Richard and questions really about some of those inconsistencies.
Wow. So Dawn finished her testimony today. She claimed at one point that Diddy had hit Cassie with a skillet and said, quote, he said you could go missing, that we could die. So what was the reaction in court to that statement?
Yeah, so just to kind of set up the scene, the defense was saying, so did you say that Combs attempted to hit her with a skillet, or did he actually hit her with a skillet? She's pointing out that in several interviews, the story sort of changes, and Dawn Richard's response is, well, this was a long time ago, and sometimes my memory's, a little foggy, and I might remember things differently. But again, as a juror, if you're listening to that, it goes back to credibility, and you have someone that's facing serious time behind bars. So I think that's what they were trying to get at, that some of her stories weren't always exact to what she had previously told prosecutors, as it pertains to you could go missing. So the story goes, Dawn Richard said she witnessed abuse, and she said that Combs said, you will go missing. She took that as a death threat. So the defense then said, well, wait a minute, in 2020 and in 2021, you reached out to Combs to work with him again. So if you were so afraid of him, why then reach out? And that was a question that she had a really tough time answering. She did admit, though, that in fact, while I did feel threatened, and yes, he did say this to me, I did reach out to him during that 2020, 2021 era about working together, about collaborating again.
What did Dawn claim in her testimony about seeing Diddy with guns and drugs?
So in the testimony, she talks about seeing him with a gun sort of like in his back, but she doesn't say he ever handled it. She never saw him cock the gun or do anything with it, but she does say that she witnessed Combs with the gun sort of in the back of his clothing. When it comes to the drugs, she said that there was a drug dealer named One Stop who would come and deliver not just cocaine or Molly or ecstasy, but she said that he also had Plan B and birth control. Again, this is the drug dealer that she said his name was One Stop.
Cassie's ex-best friend, Carrie Morgan, also took the stand. Tell us about her testimony and claims that she herself was also assaulted by Diddy.
That's right. So Carrie Morgan, a woman from Buffalo, New York, who's pursuing a modeling career, meets Cassie when they were in their late teens. She said that she was her best friend from about 2001 to 2018. And the reason that they stopped talking is because
to feedback on that, because I was going to go, before we got to Carrie Morgan, I was going to go into what Q said to tie in with Dawn, but your response to what this woman was saying, basically enhancing what you were already saying, Nana. And Farah, did you see this and have an opinion as well? Everyone's on mute, by the way.
I did see bits of this. I'm not following all of ET, or like I'm catching bits from various sources. I think it's hard though when you're testifying on something that happened a long time ago to have everything exactly in line. I do think it's hard. I don't know. Diddy's a powerful person, isn't it? And if you see him doing some fuckery, you're going to fear for your life as well, aren't you? Especially if you're tied into him too. It's very difficult.
You know what it was where I was like, actually, I'm really suspicious of her. I think it is the contacting him for work. Again, I needed her to have like a real definite, I know they can't elaborate on chat, but maybe then the prosecution needed for her to explain why she came back to him in 2021, at least, because then that's like, it's only a few years later and you're suing the dude. And it's just, I needed her to explain why, for somebody that you're scared of, why you contacted them to work with them when you are like, I removed myself in part because I was scared of him. And it was so traumatic. Like, you need to explain why is it that you was okay, you were able to, or you thought you could work with him again, even though the last time you worked with him, it was so traumatic. I needed that explanation. And without that, it's a bit like, yeah, the jury can put you to one side. Like, who's this girl again? Like, can we actually believe her? She just didn't come across as believable, which is a shame. It's a huge shame.
I think we were all leaning on that. And there was especially during not making the band. Not making the band was the other one. It's still making the band, isn't it? But see the new.
Yeah, it was.
The one that she was in that everyone was really heavily invested in it, and it's like Diddy took a shining time, and then it's like you really thought that she had the insight, and with her taking her stuff to court and saying what she had to say about Diddy, it really was kind of like, okay, Dawn's gonna have the tea, she's gonna have the real deal. So it becomes shaky. Yes, you can be quite nerve-wracking being on the stand, absolutely. But also it's a bit weird that with the prosecution, you've got your witnesses, and I know you can never be 100% prepared for what they're going to do on the stand, because they could fall apart no matter how much you rehearse. But it's just like, do you not know? Have you not got her tied up? Like, really double check these testimonies and what they're going to say? Because if she sounds so wishy-washy and so easily undone, then what is that? Again, she could be traumatized, or she could just be realizing, oh shit, this is more serious than I thought. Actually, I could perjure myself. And then she just felt, I don't know. But it was a weird, I also thought it was like, girl. But let's go into, so just to set this up, because just to tie, we were going to go into Carrie Morgan, but I thought actually it'd be good to go into Dawn's ex-boyfriend Q from Day 26. Again, he was a contestant on Making the Band, and Diddy made the boys band and he made Danny T. Kane, made Day 26 and Danny T. Kane. And within that show, Dawn and Q fell in love, and I definitely fell in love with the love story, because Dawn was so broken and he was so this, and he really loved her and championed her, and it was such a beautiful love story within the making of the show. And out for a while. But yet, Q, and he's been really troubled. There's a few of them went through their highs and lows as they did, but Q kind of went through some troubles over the years. And at first, without us knowing what's going on, it kind of looked like he just, maybe got into drugs or got into some madness, as you do when you find fast fame. But then Q kind of is twice. I'm going to show both of them. But this first video is like he went on to interview the neighborhood with the two that newscast couple that cheated on their husband and wives with each other. They became a podcast, whatever. TJ and whatever her name is.
I think it's Angie and TJ. He was on their podcast.
And with Aubrey O'Day was there as well in the room. And they were talking to
his mum.
Okay, I didn't even know his mum was there.
Yeah, his mum.
They were just talking about the situation. This is where Q says that he felt like Dawn, his then girlfriend, kind of offered him up as a sacrifice to Diddy. No, stop sharing quickly. Workings. Here we go. So this is from, because I couldn't find the actual, can you not see my screen? This is from someone going through it, Layla Lynn Media. Thank you, Layla Lynn Media. She's got a better, clearer version of what happened. I'm going to play it now.
He was very, very high. He's like, we're going to go to the Hamptons. He's like, we're going to go stay the night there, and you guys want to come. And it felt very weird because his energy just felt so weird. You know what I mean? It was friendly high. You know what I'm saying? Like a friendly invitation to something.
He wasn't usually like that?
No, he's never invited all of us to one of his houses. Before we get to the Hamptons, they're like speeding in these SUVs on the expressway very, very fast. Like they were in a rush to get to the Hamptons. We get to the Hamptons and we walk through the house and we arrive in the backyard near the pool. And my ex at the time, which was Dawn, she gave me an ecstasy pill. And she said...
Is that what she said it was?
Yeah, she said it was ecstasy, and she said it was from Puff.
That's Aubrey O'Day. The other female voice you hear speaking is Aubrey O'Day.
To give to me. And it was red. And I took it because I thought I was going to get freaky with my girlfriend. We tried ecstasy before, and I trusted her that that's what it was. So I took it immediately, and she had one too. He gave her two of them. I took mine. Within like 20 minutes, I knocked out and blacked out. I woke up in the twins' bedroom in the basement, and I woke up out of my sleep screaming very, very loud.
Who are the twins?
I don't know their names.
Are you talking about Diddy's daughters?
Twins.
Yeah. So I know in the comments, a lot of people were questioning why would Diddy have bedrooms for his daughters in the basement. But you have to think, in a mansion as big as Diddy's, first of all, they probably have more than one room. And the basement there is not like your typical basement. Like it's not bare walls, bare minimum, I'm sure. So when he says that his daughters had rooms in the basement, to me it's believable because it's a mansion. So it's believable. But I know a lot of people were questioning that part in the comments.
Yeah, Diddy's twins, his girls. Yeah, I woke up in their bed. Cameras filming me, and they were laughing as I woke up out of my sleep, screaming. And it felt like, I'm not gonna cry.
It's okay. Yeah,
every time, this is the grown man. And y'all know men, they kind of hold on to their emotions, like they don't cry easily. But every time he talks about Diddy, he starts crying. And so you hear him on the podcast, like holding back his tears. And that's why I say I feel like he's holding back half of the story, because for someone to allegedly knock him out with something he thought was ecstasy, but turned out to be a horse tranquilizer, to me, it feels like they SA'd him while he was out. That's what it sounds like.
Take your time. It's okay. It's understandable that you're reliving this and emotion comes with it. There's just no way around it. So it
felt very sacrificial. That's what I meant when I said I felt like they were trying to hurt me, or Diddy was trying to maybe sacrifice me that night. I didn't say when I went on Vlad TV, I didn't say anything about finding a sacrificial email.
Hold on. What he's discussing in regards to Vlad TV is that's one of the interviews that the boys did. He had to leave gaps within that interview, and they decided to fill those gaps. It's kind of what I've experienced this past week. As you guys know, we started this out, and it was, we all have this intention to talk our way through to the end of this trial and hopefully see justice for whatever whatever is proven and whatever the jury decides. Even you had situations that were just made up out of nowhere. So did I last week. He was discussing one in which he couldn't say certain things because he's honoring a contract. And within that, people decided to fill in the blanks. So he discussed an email, he had tears. People put it together that he's crying over an email and what it basically tried to suggest that he's not a man and he's boo-hooing over an email.
I know there are some details about the incident you described. Maybe you don't want to get into. And no, let's get it.
So that's TJ Holmes. TJ Holmes and Amy Robot. So that's TJ Holmes talking now.
We can. Can I go with how, I know you can be open about how it made you feel, right? So you're saying after this particular incident, you left there feeling, you call it sacrificial, but you felt as if they
were going to hurt me in my sleep because I woke up screaming. I woke up out of my sleep screaming. So what I mean by it felt like sacrificial, it felt like someone was trying to hurt me or take me out because I possibly couldn't have woke up out of my sleep that night.
Do you know what happened to you?
I woke up screaming like a girl to the top of my lungs at a high pitch.
Well, did you have clothes on?
I think I was in my shorts because I remember jumping into a swimming pool.
You could tell they're all kind of thinking the same thing, like with the questions, like, did you have clothes on? Like, how exactly, in what manner did you wake up? You can tell they're all kind of thinking the same thing regarding SA.
But do you believe that some of what happened to you was recorded on one or many of these iPhones?
Oh, yeah. I saw phones and lights. It wasn't a video camera. It was a phone camera light.
So there are people who do know what happened to you, and there's a reason you believe why they're not telling you?
At this time,
yeah, it's a shame. I feel like, when we used to watch Making the Band with Day 26, to me, even his speech was different. Whatever happened to him seemed like it disturbed him down to his speech pattern. Like that last question she asked him, do you remember what happened to you? Or do you think other people remember what happened to you or have a recording of what happened to you? And he's just like, Like, it's like a totally different person after whatever trauma he endured. And allegedly, it was Dawn acting on behalf of Diddy. That's what it sounds like, because he said Diddy gave Dawn the pill to give to him, and he thought it was ecstasy, which is something he had taken before, and so he willingly took it. Y'all leave a comment. Let me know what y'all think about the accusations.
Yeah.
I've got the Vlad TV interview where he's with his boys talking, and it's just where he breaks down and stuff. But what are your first reactions? Because the fact that he went in there, they had broken up, they weren't still together, but he's trusting Dawn, and so they're just rolling, and she gives him, allegedly, gives him the pill, which he thinks is ecstasy, but yet it's freaking horse tranquilizer, and then wakes up screaming in a basement bedroom. Even the connotation of it being the twins' room as well is wild.
Precisely.
Allegedly. Yeah. It's crazy. If that's what happens.
And I'm not jumping into her defense, but the thing is that he said she took a pill as well. And what he hasn't said is where she was when he woke up screaming. So we don't know what happened to her either. There's some fuckeries going on in that house. That's what we do know.
All right, so he doesn't say anything took place with Dawn. We would need Dawn to feedback on this situation. What his mum actually does, and the trauma. So later on within the conversation, he explains more that seemed to be an absolute turning point for him. So whatever happened to him that night caused a psychosis to take place. And then he kept on feeling like Diddy was going to get him in various different places. He was fighting with trees, like he was having hallucinations. He now has to be on medication, and his mum confirmed as well, before that party took place, before he took that specific pill, he was fine. And then it seemed like that relationship with Dawn, and this is from a mother's eyes as well, and this is the first time she's talking about it. She was like, Dawn was 8 years older than him, and she just felt that there was a air of manipulation about her to her son. And then toppled with how Diddy seemed to kind of crash their family being around him as well. It's like it was all spiraling, but he was also kind of living his dream. So she just felt, I'm trying to stay close to my son, but I don't seem to have control over this situation. So she did, like, the mum was definitely way more passionate about Dawn and was like Diddy, but was like, I felt like Dawn, he trusted Dawn, and she used that trust to get him into some type of a spiral. And I don't know.
And curry favor. But then also, if Dawn is part of the world of Diddy, where he'll brainwash you and have you against your will in whichever way that it happens, then she's that victim, you know, like when, you know.
Because we know that he treated Danity Kane awfully.
Yeah.
We know he did that. That's why Aubrey is always talking.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the man is pure evil. I feel so sorry for Q, because you just don't know what, I mean, I think he probably has an idea of what happened to him, but he's not sure. And when you black out or like that, it's just awful.
I mean, it's how your body feels. And I think he's got some, did he say that he's got a book coming out or something coming out? Because there's bits where he said, I will talk about it, or I'm not. I don't know if I'm mixing him up with, I'll be sure. But
No, he didn't mention having anything
coming out
like that. They are going on tour, like Day 26, and he says, like, mentally he's in a better place now. This is the first time he has said basically what took place, because he's always kind of sugarcoated it. And I agree with the lady in the clip as well. I was listening to him and I was like, you don't want to say all of the bits that happened, and I understand it. I get it. You still got to make money. You're still trying to be a performer out here, so I understand. There was way more stuff. It gets patchy after he wakes up. It gets a little bit sketchy, and it's like, bro, I swear you're leaving bits out, but I understand it as well.
I understand. That's how I felt as well, Nana. Even in this interview that we're about to watch, I felt like he's definitely not saying everything, and he doesn't have to. No, he really doesn't have to, because you can see that he's dealing with some deep trauma.
Yeah. I'll play this, and this is him with his bandmates, and them even reacting to how, if you haven't seen it, to how what happened to him as well, like what they were doing. And I think they know more, and they're all kind of also not. If you
look at the guy that's got the white bandana headscarf on, just look at all of their body language.
All of them. They all, and some of them went through some stuff too. And we know that when you put bands together and you take them from whatever background and throw them into the limelight, we know not everyone handles it. It's tried and tested story of, you know, not everyone's going to be able to handle the fame, the success, and but they've also, like, especially, I can't remember Brian and the other one with the thing on his head. He was also always the rowdy one that kind of got into trouble. So I wonder how much more
money, and I sung background for them when I wasn't a part of Day 26. So I was able to be around them through the album process of them creating Last Train to Paris. And what I witnessed was a sober Sean and a regular Sean. Like, when he's regular, he's very cool, very giving, like, it will invite you to dinner, you know what I mean? Feed you around this table. What up, Playboy? What up? Be very excited. Then I saw a high Sean too, which was very dangerous. So that's why I said I feel like he's in jail, and I'm not judging anybody because I think he needs prayer and help, but he's in jail because he's a danger to himself, first of all, and he's a danger to the world right now. And I think there's a lot of people that are scared that didn't come out in the beginning, that are very scared because it's a scary situation. It's not just him that could possibly hurt you. It's people around him that are still close to him that could hurt you, or it's just really deep, man, with Sean. So I would say I think he's in jail right now just for a good reason.
Well, I did an interview with Roger Bonds, who was in security. Was he around you guys?
No.
No?
I don't think he was around. Well, he was around.
I was around Roger Bonds.
He was around, right. And he witnessed all the abuse.
Yeah.
But, you know, what you're saying is, you know, basically consistent to what he was saying was that Diddy was, you know, over time became a drug addict.
Yeah.
You know, he would go on these drug binges. You know, him and Cassie would lock themselves in these hotel rooms for 3-4 days, go on these binges. And during the binges, that's when allegedly the free cops happen or whatever else. And then they would go and get IVs.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? Try to rejuvenate themselves.
That's a fact.
And then a week or two later, go through the same type of thing.
He's also the person that said that Diddy said that he never cared about making a band, and they never did he never planned on using, making a band successful. Like it was
just basically like a lick for him.
Yeah, like he never really had a business mind.
That was James said that.
Well, my thing with Roger Bonds was
Bonds.
like I had issue with him, and I was kind of like nervous around them because I was in the email, and I saw some things in a personal email that threw me off guard.
Like what?
I don't want to go into details right now, but it just threw me off guard. You know what I mean? To make me be like, you know what I mean? Like I understand you crying now and of the trauma that you seen, but what about me, bro?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what about the trauma you put me through when I read that email?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why it's just not like Sean that's guilty. They're all fucking guilty, man. Like, and I'm just put the blame on Sean. I blame everybody that's in his circle. They're all minions and they want to be like him. And if they can't be like him, they try to come against him. If they don't got the money or they can't get it as quick as him or whatever he's doing to get it, then all of a sudden it's like, let's turn against him now. You know what I mean? Because I guess whatever. I don't know.
Well, you said that you've seen the drugged out Diddy.
Yeah.
What would happen during those times?
Well, I mean, I can't. I'll keep it very short. Things felt very sacrificial.
Shit.
Okay, explain.
I can't, because I don't want to sound like I'm a conspiracy person too. You know what I mean? Because I'm not. But when you're under a power, man, it's just you. I can't go into details now, but sir, like I'll tell you, it felt like some sacrificial stuff was going on, man. Like it felt very scary and weird to where I ran to get help. I ran to my doctor. I spoke up with my family. I spoke up to people around me because I was like, if this is true, and I'm caught missing or dead or something, I want you guys to know facts and the truth of what I'm going through and experiencing.
Did you have this conversation with the rest of the group?
Yeah, they know.
So when you guys heard this,
we was in tears. Like,
oh,
yeah,
wow,
in tears, real. I love my brother. What's going on? Tears, real, hurt, pain. Like that.
I got to get an injection in my arm every month for mental health now for the rest of my life.
What's the?
They diagnosed me as schizophrenic and bipolar. The same thing, kind of like what Fred said he was going through, but it's just, I didn't experience suicide thoughts. I experienced other thoughts of being harmed and stuff.
Yeah, I have people in my family who are both schizophrenic and other people that have been bipolar.
Yeah, it's real scary when you got to keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
You start doing things. I was like walking around Rochester, bro. Like it's like I really like lost myself for like years. And I don't cry about this no more because I'm stronger. But it's like I was going crazy, bro, trying to figure out like what's going on. And the things that I was feeling are coming to light now. And I'd be like, whoa, that had to be God, intervening and removing me from that situation because it could have got really, really bad. So,
yeah, man, I'm sorry to go through that.
It's okay.
Yeah. But at least they found something that actually helps you out to stabilize you. I think a lot of people, they self-medicate, whether it's with pills or whatever else. Yeah, man, I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah, I'm okay.
This is heartbreaking. Oh, it's heartbreaking.
It is.
They know more. And I understand him not sharing everything on flipping Vlad TV as well. I get all of that. But you see the flapping of the legs, the shuffling, the looking at each other, like how much is he going to say? It's a lot. They went through a lot. And he's just one of them. Like, as he said, that Fred guy was in another group, I think. He also has a series of interviews with Vlad, very similar. And remember time ago, there was a priest, and we watched that on News and Nonsense as well, where his video was going viral, an early day producer, and he had a very similar thing. He witnessed some kind of satanic kind of rituals, and then he went under and he was fighting with the devil, and the devil kept on coming in with Diddy's face. There's too many accounts of, especially men, with a similar type of, I took this pill or I ate this piece of food from Diddy or Diddy's camp in some way, allegedly, and then they have a psychosis.
Yeah. And that's that. And that's what so it was Robert who was kind of like acting shocked. It's like you're half me, you're a media trained, you don't know what's going to, because you don't know what's going to come out in the interview. So he's actually, and it annoyed me, but I also checked myself. I was like, yes, because you don't know what your band member's going to say. You know he's been through something, so you're ready to do the PR version. Robert's, I mean, what's his name? Yeah, Robert's shaking his legs like he's in so much trauma, like he doesn't know what, because he went through some stuff too.
Because also we don't know what they've been through.
That's
like,
what.
I know. What I'm saying is, like, it's not only what's he gonna say. It's like, is that gonna make me have to talk about my trauma? You know. So it's like, it's heartbreaking just watching them all, to just know that this man, and even if other people definitely have been aiding him, much like the R. Kelly situation where he had a circle of people who were aiding him. But at the root of it, Diddy. At the root of it is this man that abused his power and did these horrible things, okay, allegedly, to these people.
Should we get some comments before we go into the Kid Cudi?
This is running very slow for me up on the screen. Hang on 1 second.
Do it like on Zoom as well. When the person talks, it flips.
Oh my goodness. This is terrible.
People around Diddy music-wise are either dead or ran to religion. Loon, Mace, Black Rob, Craig Mack, Biggie, for real. It is a lot. There's something around him. Absolutely. Hang on, where we go. Destiny Love. Destiny Love says, this entertainment industry is no joke. Just know if you want fame, you will have to sacrifice your soul and maybe bloodline. I don't even believe that. Like, I think you can do it the right way, actually. I truly do believe that. I think there is ways that you can do this and be famous without flipping selling your soul. But these are demons. Demons are going to demon, innit? He's going to try and convert some people.
Yeah, I think there's the right way, the wrong way, and then the fast way, the slow way, all those type of things. They give you those options, but they tap into what your vulnerabilities are, your insecurities. I'm literally watching, it is so real but not real. I'm watching The Shy, The Shy, which I really love that series. And there's one guy, you have to have the villain in the town. This is the Diddy metaphor. Like, this guy is so annoying, and everyone knows that this guy runs the town, the criminal enterprise, and everyone knows that if you go to him with a problem, he's going to use you. If you try and get away with him and barter with him, he's going to use you. So the best thing is to stay away from him, and he does make it very difficult. But it's also, this is what they're saying in court, like, why didn't you just leave? But this person can make it so difficult for you to see other options that you just think, do you know what, I might as well, because this is my world that I'm in, and there's no way out. And I think that's the part that people do when they're like, oh no, I'll just leave.
But that's also the part about when people are like, we were just talking about how come Dawn Richard went back. If someone blackballed you in the industry and you can't get a record deal, no one's talking to you, and you're down and out, maybe the only person you can go back to is the person who you were with in the beginning. And I feel like
what you have to say
did that.
Yeah.
That's how mob bosses work. And when they're trying to criminal enterprise, that's how mob bosses work. It's the model, it's the influence, it's the structure. That's how it all works. That's what I'm saying about this crime leader. But I don't know.
That's basically what she needed to say to tie it all up, because she had that storyline, basically, like, you know, just to be crass about it. You did try and go back. And even when the prosecution was, it's like they set it all up. They were saying, you've had hundreds of records. None of them have been as successful as the time you was with Diddy. Yes. So it's like, that's the tie-up. And that's why I had to go back to him, because nothing was working. He had blackballed me. Like, she needed to use those terms to actually demonstrate his power, because the jewelry, they can't fill in details. You have to say it to them. They have to have the burden of proof to be like, look, these are all of the things that he was doing that makes him a part of this kind of criminal mastermind. She just didn't fill that in. And I guess maybe why they can't even use these men is because of their mental health diagnosis as well. And I feel like that's a part of it, that they give them the bipolar, like the schizophrenia. It's like, so that they can't be credible witnesses now because they have a mental health diagnosis with that as well. But there's too many of them, including the escorts.
Yeah.
Why have two of them gone balmy as well? It's like, nah, there's too many people. And then all the deaths. Come on now.
Justin Bieber is going through something, you know? And like, as much as he made a statement the other day and he said that I'm not a victim, we need to focus on the victim. He might not be a victim of shit, but like Usher, saw some shit because they were around Diddy very young, and Diddy's been on many interviews with them talking about the stuff that happens, and you can't talk about it like jokingly because everyone thought it was a joke then, innit? Like, you can't talk about it in front of people. Yo, I want, you know, all the girls that are out. It's just very seedy.
Yeah, I don't know. It is. There's no other words for it. I'm with anyone who was in the clutches of Diddy or in his world. They're all stained and tainted. Even if you think you come out on the other side, you're stained and tainted because you've seen some things, experienced some things, or been adjacent to them things that you'll never be able to live down or forget. And this, the fallout. Look at the fallout. Just to quickly get into Kid Cudi, because he was quite a key witness. Everyone's anticipating what he had to say about Diddy allegedly blowing up his car. I mean, I don't even know if we have to say allegedly anymore. It seems like it's on the record as he absolutely did it. But here we go.
Wild one in the criminal case against Sean Combs. The prosecution called rapper Kid Cudi to the stand, and he said Diddy was like some sort of Marvel supervillain when they finally came face to face. In just a moment, my legal experts and court insiders will break down what he and 4 other witnesses told the jury today alone, and if any of it is advancing the prosecution's racketeering case. The big bombshells. Kid Cudi said that he believes Diddy broke into his Hollywood home and was behind the torching of his Porsche after finding out that Cudi was dating Cassie Ventura. A makeup artist who worked for Diddy and Cassie testified that she saw signs of abuse and let Cassie stay in her own home after one violent encounter. And the manager of a hotel in Beverly Hills revealed records showing Diddy routinely trashed his hotel rooms. Now, about that Kid Cudi testimony, it was fiery, figuratively and, of course, literally. He told the court that he started dating Cassie around 2011. And in December of that year, Cassie told him Diddy had found out about us. The same day, he said that he got a call from a Diddy employee who told him that Diddy was at his house. So Cudi, he went home and he called Diddy on the way. He said it went something like this. I said, MFer, you in my house? And he was like, what's up? I was like, MFer, are you in my house? And he said, I just want to talk to you. I was like, I'm on my way over right now. He was like, I'm here. Now, when Cudi got home, no one actually was there. But he said security cameras had been moved, angled away from where they were originally pointed before he left his home.
Sorry, is that Diddy? And is that Kid Cudi in the drawings?
Seriously, Nana called it. One of you called it the other day, and you were like, the drawers for this trial.
Diddy looks like my father.
Who are they drawing? Like, who are these people?
Cudi looks like.
Diddy actually looks like he is Morgan Freeman. I don't know who's like a white man, a white black man. He doesn't even look remotely like Diddy.
Diddy looks like Doctor Strange, but a black version.
Yeah. Look at that. Cudi looks like some Afrobeat artist. He doesn't even look like
You know what? There's 3 of them. There's 3 people doing these pictures. Now, this particular one, I know her style or him. They're bad. They're terrible. There's a second bad one, but Diddy looks a little bit more like Diddy in a way. And she's the one that managed to really capture Cassie with her bump.
Cassie,
and Diddy looking at her. Like, she's a better one. And then there's another one who is basically sitting right behind Diddy, so she never gets Diddy's face and is just getting the back of everybody's heads and the people on the stand. It's not great.
It's wild. And the thing is, in the day of AI, I don't know what's going on here, but she actually, as an artist, she's actually very good. As a caricature capturing real life, no, she's not. Good. Good grief! This is like a whole. Anyway, sorry. Back to.
Gifts from Chanel that he had for his family on the kitchen counter. They've been opened, and his dog, who normally roamed free around the house, was suddenly locked in the bathroom. Now you fast forward to January 2012. Cudi testified that this happened. His dog watcher called to tell him that his Porsche was on fire. The jury, well, they saw these images. And Cudi said it looked like the top had been cut open and a Molotov cocktail was dropped inside. The prosecutor asked, what was your reaction to your car being set on fire? Cudi said, what the F? Now, he testified he met with Diddy at a members-only club the next day. He walked into the room, Diddy was alone, and he said he saw this. It was one wall was all windows, and Sean Combs was standing there staring out the window with his hands behind his back like a Marvel supervillain. They ended up talking about Cudi's relationship with Cassie and how neither of them seemed to know that the other was actually dating her at the same time. Diddy denied any involvement in blowing up his car or setting it on flame. Now, the witness called after Kid Cudi is someone I've actually spoken with on this very show, makeup artist Myla Morales, who worked for Diddy and Cassie. Now, she testified about an incident at a hotel in 2010 where she saw Cassie right after Diddy had beaten her up. Well, what she told the jury matches what she told me last year during her first interview.
Once she came out of the room, she was badly, beaten.
Oh my God! What did her physical appearance look like?
I mean, it was knots on her head, black eye, busted lip, but a lot of knots all over her head.
Morales said that she let Cassie stay at her home for a few days after that. Then came a hotel manager in Beverly Hills. Told you it was a packed day in the courtroom. The jury saw notes from Diddy's record at the hotel, and one said this: always spills candle wax on everything and uses excessive amounts of oil. Placed the room out of order upon departure for D.
Well, this goes into, we know all the sordid stuff. I don't think we need to rehash that. But the main thing is that Kid Cudi's car was allegedly Molotov petrol bombed. It didn't seem very successful either, but it's still a scary enough tactic to kind of warn someone off, a woman that you're not treating very well, that you're on and off with. And I don't like I saw that well, I don't know. There was some painting of the fact that Cassie was manipulating or playing off Diddy and Kid Cudi. I don't know where that's like that narrative comes from, but that also needs to go. Because no matter what, Cassie is a victim in this case, and it's not to excuse her, absolve her of anything that she might have felt she was doing. At this point, this woman is a victim, and playing two men off each other. I don't know. I don't like that discussion there. Yeah. However, it was alleged that she was not. It goes between they were on a break versus they weren't together versus she was still obviously ensnared and working for Diddy, though she was trying to date Kid Cudi. Whatever the case is, Diddy, in his jealous, controlling way, just thought he'd warn Kid Cudi off and bomb his car.
Whatever the case is as well, yeah, I think Tisa Tells was talking about it. You can't have issues with someone that you're seeing when you're seeing 10 other people.
Precisely.
You can't have issues with them doing the same thing.
Yeah.
You can't, and like throughout this whole thing, they've said like sometimes their relationship was open, innit? Yeah. But also on top of that, you're making her sleep with people in front of you. Yeah. That's your thing. So you're having an issue. What? Because it's someone that perhaps maybe she can actually have a stable relationship with. Was that's the issue? Or someone that she, you didn't approve of in some way, shape, or form. Like, nah, man. Like, and I didn't like what I'm with you. I didn't like when they said, so is it that she played you and she played him? What are you talking about? That's actually nothing to do with what we're talking about here.
Yeah, they kind of set that all up, and I understand. And Cassie said it herself, innit, that she hasn't been the model person. Like, she used people. I think there is definitely a level of she wasn't telling everybody the truth in all of the ways, but he can feel like I was being played, because I understand when they went for that meeting and Cassie is now back with Diddy, and you're like, all of the things that he put us through, and you're now back with this dude, he isn't getting the full picture of how it all works. Yeah. So I understand him being like, yeah, in a way, we kind of was played. But really, he should know now, in full context, to Cassie was one of many women. So if she was trying to navigate her way out of that situation via you, I also get how he could be pissed about all of that. It's like, it's not even just the car being bombed. Remember the year before, he was in the house. You're in the house.
Moving things around
into the bathroom, and he did state as well that the dog wasn't the same after. So that means that the dog was probably drugged in some way. Yeah. And again, it's the same type of thing. So I get his pissed offness, but if they ask you a question, you kind of got to answer it. Honestly, you've got to say, we were basically being played. I absolutely agree. She probably did play them, but and then topped off with the mum in the same time talking about the 20K. Diddy was wiling at Cassie actually leaving him. At that moment in time, he was nuts about it. So he was prepared to do crazy things to pull her back in. And I think they demonstrated that enough for people to get that picture that at that moment, 2011 to 2012, Diddy escalated what he was doing for Cassie to not leave. And it's understandable that she went back.
Talking about the dog as well, like, it's interesting because Diddy's defense actually wanted that taken out. So before Cudi testified, they tried to get that taken out, and I don't think he was supposed to talk. But no, the judge overruled it. So you don't that. Why do you not want someone to talk about the dog? If they were saying it because maybe the jury would have empathy for this animal, but it's almost like. But then you're admitting that you were in the house then, and that this happened. So
So I guess overall, to where in your guys' opinion, where do you think where's the case this week? It's week 3/4, depending on if you include the jury selection as part of it. Going into this new week, perhaps there's some alleged new people to be brought to the stand. And someone, even, I think Melissa in the comments is still saying, but this is all SA. Where's the RICO? Where's the RICO? And it keeps going back and forth between, is he going to get done for the RICO? Because there's all a lot of conversation about setting up his character. I think that they spent the last couple of weeks setting up his character. The prosecution are really making it clear that Diddy was a man to be feared. He was violent. He was dangerous. And someone that you couldn't get away from easily. So they've done that setting up, or continue to set that up. Now everyone's kind of like, where are the real RICO charges? Is he going to get done for this? Because at the moment, all we're hearing is lots of wild sexual antics and abuse.
I think that they painted, we are in week 3 now. I think they did, and we're going into week 4. They did paint quite a succinct picture with this last couple of days on how he had help, how he was dangerous, and how he could escalate to get people to do what he wanted. Definitely Cassie's mum and Kid Cudi, they weren't on the stand for that long, but that he tried to extort 20K out of her. That shows a different type of pattern. She didn't have that money there, and you would know this of their family. To have to get a loan out against your house, or the days that's all going to take, that Cassie was emailing her mum anyway to be like, look, this is the situation that we're in, and had stated that he's coming after Kid Cudi as well. And then you do all of those things. It's like that's showing the pattern of you couldn't have done that alone anyway. And then Capricorn also being there, and Kid Cudi saying, she called me from the car that they forced her to go to Kid Cudi's house. They're in your house. All of this is like, that's not just I was a shitty boyfriend. This is an escalation that he never got caught for, and he didn't do any time. So that shows a criminal enterprise. Like, you literally got away with this for, what are we on now? 14 years? 14 years later, the details of your crimes are coming forward. That sounds like a mafia bust to me. Like,
and also, it's the buying of the drugs, the way that he bought the drugs, and all the paraphernalia, using his business card for certain things, using cash for other things, having certain people set things up for him, all of that stuff.
Most definitely. One Stop being named so many times as well.
I feel like he opens his coat and goes, what do you want? Go through my there's my things on my coat. You can get anything.
But also Diddy's bag, his drug bag seemed to be like that. Like, everybody seemed to be going into Diddy's bag, and they could have a cocktail of drugs that they were after. And we're still seeing this is just the one Cassie and her web. Now, if we could see the web around Gina, you would be able to see that this carries on as well. If we could see the web that was going on around Young Miami, and there's still two names that were mentioned the week before. I think it was like a Yana and Tara. We don't even know who these women are. But his assistant said there was 5 of them.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot taking place.
Do you think Hunn's gonna? Do you think she's gonna take the stand? Because at the moment she's missing, and apparently she did a random tweet the other day or a Instagram story, and she made something. But she's like, do you think they're gonna get her to talk? Because she seems to be the one that everyone's hanging on.
I hope so. I hope she does come forward because I hope she does, because I think she would be able to give another insight into the time where Cassie was working in other capacities, and it seemed like Gina seemed to be there a lot. Like, what was he doing with her? And I bet it's the same shit. And so it's like, we got to see that he had a pattern with this. And I want to Roger Bonds to either come on the stand or to be charged, and D-Rock as well, because his henchmen allowed him to do all of this shit.
Yeah.
Capricorn as well.
So Capricorn needs to come to
next week they're saying that Jane Doe is taking the stand. And she wants to be not named, and she doesn't want her. She also has requested for her video not to be shown in open court because she doesn't want anything coming back on her at all. And what the talk is she wasn't a girlfriend. This is why this witness is so important, because she wasn't a girlfriend. She was someone that Diddy was blackmailing, allegedly, with video footage, which is why she kept having to go back and do stuff. We'll find out next week, I suppose.
We will find out next week.